So next, we will see what is sum and sum x function. And followed by that, we will jump into understanding the average family of functions, like count family of function. Even in the average, we have more than one average functions are there. And then we will jump into understanding what is calculated column, measure, and calculate table. Tomorrow, we'll continue with the evaluation context because, you need to have free mind to understand. This is very, very important. If you don't understand the evaluation context, you will not be able to understand the entire DAX. Okay. If you want to understand the DAX uh, functions, right? This is the fundamental building block. If you miss tomorrow's session, you will not be able to understand. Okay. So now we'll jump into understand what is sum and sum x function. Sum, if you want to compute the total, right? You can use sum function. The sum function, since the sum function takes the column name, whereas the sum x function takes the first name as an argument, first argument as a table name, sorry, okay? The function sum ends with the x since it is an iterative function. Since it's an iterative function, the first argument is supposed to be table name, and then you can give the expression, okay? And look here, this is an example for sum x. Sum x, right? Inside the parenthesis, first argument is table name. Fact internet says this is a table name. An expression, this is your expression, okay? Quantity into price. That is an expression, okay? Either you can specify an expression or you can specify the column name itself, okay? That is the, so here the sum x is an iterator function. Unlike sum x is capable of performing row by row calculation. That is the beauty of sum x function. This is important point. Sum x then adds all the row wise this is the iterator to the given expression, okay? So what happens is it takes the product of order quantity unit price for each and every row and it computes the total revenue. And finally, it finds out the total on this thing, okay? Look here. So the sum x, how it works, this is my given data set. Here the first argument is table name, here the sales and unit price into quantity. So it goes each and every row by row. All the iterative function, it performs row by row operation. Like the other iterative function, even the sum x function also, it performs row by row operation. It first goes the first row, and then it picks up the price, and then it multiply this quantity, and then you will get the sales amount. Okay. Okay. It goes row by row and picks up the unit because each row, the quantity and unit price will be different, right? So that is how it works. What's the difference between sum and sum x function? Sum x is just summarizing the values of one single column, whereas sum x is capable of performing row by row calculation. So here, you can perform row by row operation, quantity into price, you can multiply it, and then you can store the result of the product of quantity unit price into a separate table, separate column, right? You just remember sum is an aggregator, whereas sum x is an iterator. Okay. Whenever someone says iterator, two or three things that should come into your mind. The iterator function ends with x, majority of the functions, okay? And it takes the first argument as a table. And also you can evaluate an expression, it performs a row by row operation. These are the three things that you need to remember whenever someone says iterator function. Sum x is an iterator function, sum is an aggregator function. That is the difference between these two. But in one way, okay, um, all the aggregators, which means some function inside the Power Engine or iterators. This one may be confusing you. That's why I put something like this, okay? So when I make this statement, definitely anyone will get confused. So the aggregator is a sum function. Nowadays, says sum function is also an iterator. Because, for example, when you give sum of sales amount, let's sales by customer, it's a table name. And you have the column name sales is there. Here you have used the column name. We are using sum function. It has to compute the total on the sales column, right? What happens is, according to us, we just type only this one. Behind the scene, the Power BI engine, what it does, it translate this one is something like sum x function. Sales by customer, comma, the sales. It transforms this one like this, behind the scene. Okay. Now the question is then why the hell Ideally they should have used only one function. Why they introduce this function? The reason is syntax sugar. There is something called syntax sugar. That means as a developer, you don't have to write so many thing, right? So many lines of code. So to simplify that, they use sum of this one. This is equivalent to this one behind the scene. Okay. First argument is supposed to be table. Second argument can be expression or it can be column itself. This one will get translated or transformed like this. So that's the reason why I told you the last line is also true. All the aggregators, which means the sum function, average function, inside the program are iterators. Okay. The average will get converted as an average x, sum will convert and come sum x. Similarly, min x, max x is available. Average function. Look here, average function. You know what is average? Average is pretty straightforward. It finds out the average. Nothing much difference. So this average function, it does not support logical value. Like count function, it does not support, it does not work with the logical value or the Boolean value. And text value also, it will not work. Obviously, right? So Sheila plus Bala plus Rupa. Can you add all the three things? No, right? So likewise, average function does not work with the text value and Boolean value, and cells with the value 0, but that will be included. Supposing I have a 0 is there, that will include. And if you have any blank value, it will not take into account. Okay. If the data type is integer, numeric, decimal, always skip the null value. Integer, numeric, decimal. If the specific column has these three data types, and if that has a null value, it will skip it. It is correct, right? If you have a null value in a column, for a numeric column, skip it. Otherwise, it will mislead you. For example, you have something like and there's age, right? Average of the student. One person is 20, and other person is blank. You do not know. Other person is also 23. Other person is 20, right? So here, 20 plus 20, 40 plus, see here, how much? 40 plus 46 divided by, if it takes into account the blank, 5 will come, right? That is wrong. Simply it ignores this one. The blank value will get ignored ideally, right? So that's how we do it, right? 86 divided by 4. So average age is 21 point or something like that. So it will ignore the null value in the numeric column. It will not work with the text and Boolean data type. That's all, guys. Next one is the average A function. It works with all the data type. Average A function. Okay. Ironically, it works with, or unlike your average function, average A function, it works with all the data type. It support logical values. So you might be wondering how come the average it's an average function end of the day. How come it works with all the data? So for example, sorry, ignore this one. This is the wrong thing. Okay, and it support logical values. That means it will consider true as 1, false as 0. Wherever you have false, it will. So in that case, 1 plus 0 divided by 2, it makes sense, right? So it will, wherever you have true, it considers 1 and false as 0. And okay, non-numeric text, right? If you have non-numeric text, it will consider 0. Okay, it will consider as a non-numeric text. Non-numeric. You consider as 0. And you have empty text. You have something, this is called empty text, guys. So it will count this one as a 0. Okay, non-numeric text is 0. Empty text also 0. And true is considered as a 1. And false it considers a 0. Okay. And the next one is the average, let's call it average x iterative function. Since it's an iterative, because it ends with x, and since it's an iterative function, performs row by row operation. The first argument is supposed to be column table name. Second one is your column name. It can be column name or it can be expression. Okay. So it evaluates the expressions for each row of a table and then calculate the arithmetic mean. It does not support logical values. And when there are no two aggregate, blank is written. And if data type is always skip null value, obviously, right? That is what we discussed. What you do is you, like I have explained to you here itself, we can find out the average function, the count family function. So what you do, you just go here and type some measure, right? Some x is there. You go and check. For example, you click on this one, you can see what logic I have written it, what function. And here the sum x expression. Look here, sum x is an iterative function. Inside that, I used another iterative function called filter. I did this. You try to understand this. Okay, sum and sum x function, or by typing the name of the measure, right? How do I know the name of the measure? Just make a guesstimate, no? You must have used sum or sum x function. Look here, AVG. I have used AVG also, right? You just go and check it here. That's all, guys. Okay. And next one is this is very, very important, the calculated column and calculated measure.